Now, I've been saying over and over and over again that we are all one decision away from changing the entire quality of our life. From mastering our body to mastering our relationships, mastering our communication, mastering our marriage and parenting, mastering being single, mastering our finances, whatever it is, we are all one decision away. Now, if you are a coaching client of mine, you know in detail what I'm talking about here. And if you are new to listening to me, then allow me to explain. The quality of our lives are directly related to the questions we ask ourselves, and then the decisions we choose related to those questions. We decide how to react to an argument, we decide how to speak to ourselves, we decide what to eat, whether or not to care for our bodies, how long we stay in a bad relationship, our job, everything. Everything we do is a decision. Now, I get much deeper into that and into why at all of my seminars. So if you want to learn how to master the art of decision making and therefore change the quality of your life, sign up on the website. But for today's topic, let's talk about the first step into changing those decisions, and that is our routine. In order to change our decisions, we have to move quickly and radically into changing our thought patterns and winning the mental race before our brains tell us all the reasons why we can't do something or why it won't work, right? You know what I mean. When you have this brilliant idea and you have the entire map of how you're going to accomplish it, but boom, something shifts, and although the idea and the map or the plan was awesome, you never accomplish it. Whether it's losing weight, to finding joy in your day-to-day life as a parent or spouse, or do you take all of your anger and resentment out on the people you love the most? Sound familiar? Or did you sit in this place of ultimate dwelling, where you relive the scenario or event over and over and over again in your mind, trying to figure out why this happened? Then we do the predictable, right? We doubt ourselves. We say, if I had done this differently, he would have never left me, whatever it is. Let me give you an example. I have a client who is in the same pattern in dating. She is divorced in her late 40s, has kids, and is constantly finding herself stuck in the same cycle of her dating life. She meets the guy. They hit it off. He says all the right things. They move in together, and then, whip, boom, there it is. Now it gets real. We know when you live with someone, the truth comes out. Now, really, this is what she wants, right? The man, the house, the stability, the family dinners. This is what she wants. So she says, right? So she says. But what happens now? Now we start to see all the things that we looked upon. We start to see the excessive drinking that he has a pattern of. Now we see how he parents, and it certainly doesn't match her parenting style. In fact, parenting became the major issue and ultimately the demise of the relationship. So much so that he disrespected her in front of his children repeatedly, and then the children disrespected her. And then finally, she stood up for herself and said, that's it, I'm out of here. She leaves, brokenhearted, but she leaves. That voice inside of her is screaming at her to get out because she knows deep down that she deserves much more respect and more kindness, and not this dysfunctional pattern of emotional abuse, mostly stemming from his insecurities and his pattern of drinking, right? We as humans feel two things, pain or pleasure. And in this case, the pain of how she was disrespected outweighed the pain of her not having the house, the man, the family life that she so deeply desires. So she goes. But here's where it gets tricky. This is where it gets tricky. Now, since we are all in that mental race that I was just talking about, right? We allow our brains to overpower our actions. We start thinking, well, maybe it was me. Maybe I should have done something differently. Maybe I overreacted or was too sensitive. Maybe the drinking isn't a huge deal after all. How many of you can recognize this in your own life and way of thinking? Then this is what starts. Then the lousy questions start. I spoke about that in another seminar. How decisions are stemmed from the questions we ask ourselves. If you ask lousy questions, you get lousy answers. So we ask ourselves the questions, why did he do that? Why didn't he love me the right way? Why did he treat me like this? Lousy questions. So we get lousy answers. The answers we tell ourselves become, well, because you aren't worth being loved the way you envision being loved, because you are oversensitive or you demand too much, right? We start answering our lousy questions with really, really lousy answers until we get ourselves to the ultimate bottom, that the pain we feel now is worse, or so we convince ourselves, is worse than the pain we felt in that bad relationship. Then the action follows. Then we send the text. I miss you. Do you miss me? Look what we had that we blew. And then the cycle starts all over again. And then we get back together and he hasn't changed and you haven't changed. So now you're walking out the door 3 months later again and again and again and again. Sound familiar? The goal is to break that pattern, get to the root as to why you have it in the first place. And not just once. It's an ongoing journey. I had a client who went through this program and lost a ton of weight, was having a better relationship with her husband, feeling really good about herself, and then some challenges came up with her children. She fell completely backwards. So why do we do that? Because we can't just expect to listen to one tape or go to one seminar or one program and think it will have lasting change. Just like weight loss. How do you expect to go on a 30-day diet and then go back to your old patterns and keep the weight off? Like what? I mean, I see people that go to class after class and trainer after trainer and trainer, then they go home and they're in their same patterns and they haven't lost a pound. Maybe it fluctuates. Maybe they lose 10 pounds, 13 pounds, 15 pounds, but it comes right back on because they haven't gotten to the root of their thought pattern. It's a daily practice. When I decided to make major changes in my life, the first thing I changed was my morning rituals, my morning patterns. All of my patterns in the morning changed. I'm going to share with you now what I still do every morning, and I want you to try them with me. Listen, you may think it's total bullcrap, but hey, if you're listening to this, you want change. So why not try it, right? I take 3 minutes, only 3 minutes before I start my day. Now, if you don't have 3 minutes for yourself, you are in major trouble and you should email me immediately. But in order to do this, we have to focus on our emotional state first. If we go into something in an angry state or frustrated state or pissed off state, it doesn't matter what you do, your outcome will be as such. Because if your thoughts are weak, your actions will be weak. Make sense? So get happy and excited and get into a great state. This is really cool. It's an awesome thing to learn. So get excited. Be ready to learn and soak it all in. Now, breathing is key. My great friend and fellow coach, Cara Bradley, the owner of Verge and author of On the Verge, she is awesome at teaching breathing techniques, and I learned this from her. It's similar to the breath of fire taught in certain yoga classes, but we're going to breathe in through the nose for a 4 count, hold for a 4 count, and then release for a 4 count. I do this for the entire 3 minutes. Now, what I add is my arm movement. I raise my arms up over my head, hold, and then release down. As I inhale, my arms come up, then I hold them up for the 4 count, and then release them down as I exhale. This is a daily activity I want you to do. You must help yourself first before anyone else, like an airplane, right? What do they tell you? In case of emergency, the oxygen mask comes down, and then they tell you, make sure you put it on your family first. Well, no, they don't. Of course they don't. They tell you to put you on yourself first. Because if you don't take care of you, then you can't take care of anyone. So, first thing we're going to focus on is what we are grateful for, right? We've got 3 minutes. So the first minute with our breathing, with our arm movement, is we're going to focus on what we are grateful for. Real gratitude. So step 1, gratitude. Easy gratitude. Listen, it can be major or big. And don't forget the small things, though, like the sound of the ocean or the smell of your favorite flower or freshly cut grass, whatever it is, a moment. And come with different ones each day. But think of something you can be really grateful for. Maybe the look and sound of laughter. I do that. The look and sound of laughter that comes out of my baby brother's mouth. I love his giggle. Something you are blessed for, a beautiful moment, a loving moment, a sacred moment. Then step in it and feel it. Flood yourself with the gratitude. Now, from a scientific perspective, we use gratitude because where focus goes, energy flows. So what happens is you become unified and all of a sudden the brain and the heart become one flow of energy. It's crazy. Now, what are the 2 emotions that mess people up? What are the two emotions that mess us up mostly in our lives? Anger and fear. The two major emotions that mess us up. Now, you cannot be angry or fearful at the same time you are grateful. It's the opposite of anger. So the more you train your brain to be grateful, the more you can replace those feelings of anger and fear with happiness and gratitude. And very quickly. This is not some mindful, positive, just blowing out of my mouth. It's real scientific proof. It's about rewiring your thought process to a way of thinking more impactful and positive than where you are now. And the reason that I stress that you focus on the little stuff too is because if you lose sight of the small stuff, you're going to lose out on most of life. Our standards and expectations get distorted. I work with a handful of celebrities and some who hit their peak. They've already hit their peak and now they're off the TV show they were on. They're not recognized on the street and the money is not flowing in like it was. Think about that journey. As kids, they dreamt about being famous and being on TV and in movies and entertaining people and being loved by all. Thousands of people cheering their name. And then in return, entertaining them and being admired by them. Talk about an event, right? So exciting. But now the show is over, or they casted new people. They were at the height of their career and fame, and now nothing. And then they ask, now what do you do? What do you do now for adventure and for purpose? They feel they no longer have a compelling future. And working with these celebrities, I know firsthand that the majority then turn to drinking or drugs or overspending because everything else, the day-to-day gratitude, became small in nature to them. And then they hire me to get them back in alignment with the way of thinking that got them to be such a success in the first place. Because if we don't work on it daily, we lose it. Okay, so step one, it starts with gratitude. Train yourself to find gratitude in the large and small. Find something and feel it. Put yourself there. Smell the flower or feel the wind. Step two, for the second minute, I move to sharing. I want you to envision this energy pouring down into the top of your head and then blowing it out with your exhaled breath. And breathe it out all around you and spread that energy all around you to your family, your friends, your business. Now do it really, really do it. If you think it's BS, do it anyway. And as you do it repeatedly, I think you may find it will really strengthen your level of gratitude without even thinking hard about it. And then step three, I go there in my brain. I think of something I want. I put it in my brain like it already happened. So for me, look at this for example. I put this in a month ago, seeing myself spreading my message to thousands of people, helping them. And here we are. Think of 3 things you want to accomplish and achieve, and instead of just hoping they will happen, you're going to step into your mind and experience them as if they are done. You're going to see it, feel it, breathe it, celebrate it like you have already achieved that goal. This is a proven method of thinking. When you master result thinking, you will ask yourself how to get there. As we know, right, when we ask ourselves how we get there, when you ask good questions, you'll get good answers. So you're actually get yourself to the journey as opposed to asking why it hasn't happened. So feeling the outcome as if it all really happens is the last minute. You ready to try it out? Step 1, for 1 minute gratitude. Step 2, for 1 minute sharing. And step 3, envisioning and putting myself as if I've already achieved that goal. Now, if you're not disciplined yet to do this in your own, I want you to email me right away and order the 3-minute audio of this morning pattern. There's no cost to it, but I'll talk you through it for 3 minutes and we can start tomorrow. It's a 3-minute, I don't want to say guided meditation because it's not a meditation, but it's a guided thought process that will retrain your way of thinking. You can email me at info@getrealmainline.com and I'll send that out to you.